Do you want to start out this time?
Sure. Hi, I'm Lily.
And I'm Shannon.
And I am her daughter.
And I'm her mother. And we are doing our New Jersey Housewives review of Season 5, Episode 2. Started out with Teresa talking about the relationship between her parents and the children. And I don't know about you, but I thought it was totally adorable when Melania said, "Grandpa's a nice little fella."
I did too. I mean, usually the grandparents spoil the kids,
Well, and that was kind of my thing. Was Teresa was like, "Oh, if Grandpa was here, he'd be getting on me." No, he would not, because Grandpas don't do that. Those are their little princesses.
Grandpa would be like, "Why are you screaming at those little girls? Stop screaming at them."
Yeah,
that's what my grandpa would do at least. Yeah,
it is. Melissa and Joe selling their house for $3.8 million.
Okay, ain't nobody got $3.8 million.
Okay. Some people got 3.8, but they're all like, "Why aren't you showing the house?" How many people do you think have $3.8 million?
I laughed.
Huh? And what also got me was Melissa says, "I go to the church and I pray to God that we sell our house." Don't bother God with that. He don't have time for your $3.8 million house. I'm pretty sure there's bigger fish to fry, and I don't know, maybe he should throw a bone to a homeless guy or something. I mean, come on. Caroline's sister Fran. I don't know whether they've ever shown Fran before or not.
I've never seen her.
I don't remember ever seeing her, but I totally, when I first saw her,
I thought she was Dina.
I did too. I was like, Dina got a little chubby. Chubby Dina. But no, I thought Fran was delightful, and the fact that she's an animal lover, I think, she's got to have a pretty good heart. Yeah, she's got to have a good heart. Kathy and Richie driving with the son.
I thought it was funny. At the beginning, they were all like, "No, I will drive with him. No, I will drive with him." I loved how Kathy was like, "I taught him to ride his bike. I can teach him how to drive and stuff."
Well, when you turn 16, it's going to be me riding with you.
You're the only one.
I'm terrified. Chris and Jacqueline struggling with the issues with their son, but Chris, he's a good man. He really is.
I really respect him. I do.
I thought it was really nice that he could acknowledge that Jacqueline needed more time for herself.
I think she needs to take some time off and time for herself to do what she wants to do.
Yeah, I think it's great that he's, keeping that in mind, and he's not doing she doesn't do anything. He acknowledges and respects what she does, and that he's
a good guy.
She's trying to help their son learn, and, that's a tough thing in their situation, and our heart totally goes out to him for that. Teresa and Joe's dad goes in for a pacemaker. That was big news. And then goes into the hospital. It sounded like there was complications or something with it.
Yeah.
So that's too bad. But I did, we definitely hope that he gets better.
Yes, I do feel bad for Teresa and Joe on that. And I think they need to make up in order. I think that would help their father, actually. Because I think that's a big burden on his shoulders to see he might die and his kids are still mad at each other.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a very mature point of view for, you're 11 years young. I thought it was just like, I don't know, it was hilarious that Teresa got the text from Caroline while she was with Kim D.
That's
that dirty
perfect
Kim
timing.
D. That dirty Kim D. Don't think we forgot what you did.
Actions speak louder than words.
And Teresa having the topic with Joe about periods and wine, and Melissa might have been on her period, and Joe might have drank some wine with. I don't know where she was going with that, but the whole thing was disgusting.
I nearly puked. That was awful.
I just didn't feel like anything needed to get, and I don't know if you remember, but several seasons back she was making the tomato sauce and said something about a girl on her period could not make the sauce or it would ruin the entire batch of sauce.
That's
I think Teresa needs to quit blaming women's periods for things. It happens. We can't help it. voodoo, taboo, because we're menstruating. It's just, I don't want you to be afraid that you think that it's, going to be some frightening taboo thing, like bad things are going to happen to you. Ooh.
So never trust me, or never trust her if she's on her period making you spaghetti. Never trust her.
Apparently that's what that means. I don't know.
I guess. It's an Italian thing.
Victoria going to school to become a nurse practitioner.
She is beautiful.
She is beautiful.
She is, lovely.
She is. And I love that her mom's so proud of her.
I know. I love Kathy.
Nothing's more adorable than a mom proud of her daughter. And I loved it that Richie wanted to use the little medicine cups as shot glasses. And personally, I have some Lucky Shots right here that if Richie wanted to do some shots, this would be the stuff he would definitely want to do in those little medicine cups. And the dummies in the hospital beds were creepy.
Those were...
And if I was Richie, I would have been sticking my finger in their mouth, and I would have done something too. I'm not going to lie. I know it's really not that funny to Kathy anymore. She's had it for years, but it's funny to me.
Kathy's very serious. Kathy's mature, I like it how her son's getting Richie's personality. I think that's going to be good.
Yeah. Oh, I think so too.
Very.
Just to touch on this point, love Jacqueline. I did. Love her, love her, love her.
She's nothing
Heart goes
but
out
sweet.
for her situation, but I just want to say, Jacqueline, you need to stop crying every time you talk about your son. Because someday he might see this stuff and he's going to be like, why was my mom crying
And that's
going to
make him feel bad.
Yeah, you don't want to make him feel bad. It's not his fault. And I understand you love him, but, you are doing amazing things with him, girl. And you need to chin up, and you are doing the best you can.
You are a fighter, and I respect you for that.
Absolutely. But we're going to have to dry it up a little. And I'm not being heartless with that. I'm just saying, for his sake. You don't want him to think Mommy cries because of me all the time.
And I would like to say, I don't know what it's like to be a mother, but I can imagine having your child go through that. I can understand why you would cry, but every time, just kind of...
Yeah, but it's partially Bravo, too. I mean, maybe Bravo is just making her look like a crybaby all the time. Maybe she really doesn't cry all the time when she talks about her son. Maybe they just decide to air every time she cries. I don't know. But they did have a lovely party with everybody, and we all got to hear Nicholas say, I love you.
Oh my gosh, that was so touching.
Yes, there were
that was so sweet when Chris...
I was crying over that one.
I wanted to cry. I was like, oh my gosh.
That was so sweet. And that you could tell that Chris was so touched by it, and it was just a great moment.
But it's really good when she doesn't have to hold a lollipop, and he can say that.
I had to laugh too when they finally got somebody to come. Melissa and Joe Gorga got somebody to come see their $3.8 million house, and the faucet broke off,
and the part of the counter did,
and the counter's cracked, and they're like, "Well, if you got $3.8 million, just put a new sink in." But here's the thing. A lot of people like me think that if you pay $3.8 million for a house...
There should be a good sink in there already.
There should be a good sink in there already. The faucet should not break off in your hand. I mean, we live in pretty much a shithole, and yet no
This house is over 100 years old.
No faucets have broke off in my hand.
Nope.
And let me tell you, this is not a $3.8 million house.
No.
I really felt like Caroline and Teresa's powwow. I kind of felt like Caroline was putting Teresa's shit in the street on that, laying it out there over the whole Kim D thing when she basically said, look what she did. She's like, well, she didn't do anything to me. She made you look like a total jackass to everybody. Okay, so if that's not doing anything to you, I don't know if she needed to throw a pile of shit in your face or what to get you riled up. I don't know. Let's see.
I also thought,
Caroline had an apology in there tonight. Yeah. And I don't know. Did you take away from that things would be resolved after this, or?
I think Caroline did make a good point after that talk, but Caroline needs to focus on her own problems.
I think so too, and Teresa kind of said that. She like,
talked about Dina,
yeah,
and that was harsh, but yet she made a good point. And Caroline, she handled that very well. You know, she said, yes, I do need to fix problems, and I think part of Caroline wants to help with that because they're younger than her, so she's experienced that stuff. Since it's not fixed right now for her, she wants to try to fix it for them before it gets to the point that she's out with Dina where it's like that for them. And I respect Caroline for trying to help, but
I really respected Caroline for ending that whole thing with saying, I need a drink. And I appreciated her honesty on that. And I just want to say that if she needs a drink, 11 shots would put her right where she needed to be. But kind of, the dog has his opinions too. Kind of my thoughts on that is I would have probably had a drink before I went to the meeting, you know, and then probably one while I was there. I would have really needed a designated driver for that whole talk, if I was either of them, really. So any final thoughts? Did you have a greatest moment of the show tonight? I mean, was there just like that moment that was like, you're like, oh, that was the best because it was either the funniest or the worst or the meanest, or what stood out? What did you take from the show? What was your number one thing?
Really, when Nick said I love you.
Yeah, that was probably, so I think that was
touching.
definitely it for me.
You know,
too.
I had my notebook right here writing stuff down, and like right when I saw him say that, I was just like,
yeah,
oh my gosh.
That was moving. It really was.
It was beautiful.
You know,
the men almost cried. You know, when the men almost cry or do cry, that's a good moment.
Yeah, it was great.
Like,
and the fact that Chris and Jacqueline and Nicholas were all in this big
cried.
embrace.
It was like a big bundle of love.
I loved it. I loved it. All right, so to wrap this up, it's going to be a whole week before we get to see another Housewives show. We got a little spoiled because, well, we had watched last week, but we watched it again tonight.
Yeah,
but now we're going to have to wait an entire week for the fix. But tomorrow night will be Orange County, so that will give us something new to talk about. And we hope you enjoy the video. We hope you keep watching and subscribe to our channel.
Yes, please subscribe. That's amazing. I'm so excited that I got to share this with you.
I just want to say you look so beautiful tonight. Your hair, the scarf. I think the scarf is a
one thing
definite
I was
fashion
disappointed
statement.
on, I want you guys to see these. I wanted the camera to show my boots.
Yeah.
I
told her we couldn't have it show her boots, because if we show her boots, we have to show everything
and
down
she's
on
barefoot,
me.
so.
Yeah. I'm barefoot.
And
anyway,
I'm sitting on a pillow because I'm short. So I need to be level.
You're not short, you're just shorter than me. Anyway, thanks a lot. Shall we give a kiss out?
Thank you guys. Please
Good
like our
night.
video and subscribe.